High streets in general has changed over not just the last few years, over quite a long period of time.
There are a few shops still on the high street that have stayed, what they originally were. Off license across the road from me used to be a coach house, and like the coach and the stable yards are still there, and the off license is still there. So I mean, it's still serving drinks like it did in the old days, when it first opened.
There was a Sainsbury's deli. I think they did have supermarkets, but this was like cusp of supermarkets, and it was a Sainsbury's deli. You can still see it actually. There's a shop down the road. And it's is it the Pound? I can't remember which one it is now. I think it might be the Pound shop.
It's beginning to develop a kind of small, interesting shops.
They've got to rejuvenate the shopping because it's abysmal. We have 25 nail bars, 25 grocers, and half a dozen hairdressers, and I think that's probably pretty much it.
We're at the beck and call of the landlords who own the properties, and if the landlords don't share the community's vision to improve a high street, you have really very little hope.
We didn't have a coffee bar until about 6 years ago. And then we had this one, and then the Blue Mountain came, and then Cute came. So it signifies some sort of social change to me, just the fact that that's happened.
There's one here now called the Co-op. That used to be a cinema, about 25 odd years ago. When the cinema was closed down, I think the first one that took over was Gateway's supermarket. Then we had a variety of them, like Wallace's and so forth and so forth.
I think high streets now reflect the multicultural and multinational communities in the areas that we live in. There's a lot more diversity with regards to foods, eating habits, cultures that come in and enrich the community at large.
I don't think anyone realised what effect the supermarkets would have on the high streets anyway. For a time, and more so in other boroughs than this business about revenue. Okay, so what do? They make it no parking everywhere, so they can nick people for parking. Because that, in conjunction with the supermarkets, is what's killed them. It's a whole attitude.
Sad to say, we're ringed by large supermarkets.
Local shops just don't get parking places, and the only ones you see at Tesco, and you think Tesco Express or something, you think there's a good chance they'll have good parking outside their shop, and they usually do it, so you stop and you go in.
High streets need footfall to survive.
I think the thing that was nice about them was people stopped more to talk to each other. Since the bigger shops come, they tend to go about their business and they're bustling and they're busy and what have you. But with the smaller ones, they're so, I don't know, it was like the time of day for people. There were chairs left out for the old people, to sit down on. And they used to go from one shop to the other with all their little bags and purchases, where I suppose in this day and age it wouldn't be really that convenient.
You're better off going to a small greengrocers and butchers and bakers and, much better quality and value,
They're not only run by really nice people, their products are very good.
And not everybody wants to buy their stuff in Sainsbury's. What we've got to rely on is the loyalty of our regular customers. I think what happens is people will go down there and have a look, see they're actually not any cheaper than we are, because we currently run most of the same like special offers and stuff like that they do, and hopefully they'll go for the personal service, which is what we offer.
Yeah, I think the future of the high street is keeping away from anything that can be done online. Because online shopping is obviously, we've had the whole supermarket, but I mean, boom of the supermarkets, they're not going anywhere. But they've had their effect on the high street. They've changed the whole landscape of the high street. So shops that are surviving now are ones that aren't in direct competition with supermarkets, or they offer something slightly different. And that's going to be the same case of internet shopping now.
I think everybody's got to adapt. Just change.
You know, I'm confident that it will come about, because I rely mainly on the local shops here in Sydenham for my needs, and not having to go much further out to Bromley, Croydon, or even central London. I like it to be all happening here, because I've lived here a long time and I know quite a few of the local shopkeepers, and like the opportunity to get to know more.
If the community of Sydenham builds itself up, I think it'll be quite successful, but it just means everyone coming together.
How do you convince people that just aspiring to something is all you really got to do? It's very difficult. And for them to believe it in their hearts as well, there's no good paying lip service to something like that. So that's where my hope is.
You need to ask a question: who really and truly benefits from all this rebuilding? All this regeneration. Who really and truly benefits from it? Because in a high percent of cases, you would find that the grassroots communities do not benefit as much as they would like us to think that we do.